Yeah, today's video is a bit different because there was this time that I made a post on Facebook concerning my preference of a particular book, and I received quite a lot of reaction. Like people were insulting me based on my own ideas of what I consider the best out of audiobooks and paperbacks, which is the perfect book resources to analyze literature. So I was making reference, is audiobook good in analyzing literature, or is it hard cover, or is it physical copies, paperback that are best in terms of analyzing literature? So the post was actually inspired because someone actually sent me a free, what's it called? A free audiobook with a code where I can listen. So I started listening to it, and the first instant it was quite fine. But as I keep listening to it, I think I was lost, I would say. Lost in the sense that I found it very difficult to follow through what the narrator's storytelling techniques. I find it very difficult to know what page it is and what's the next in line. So it was my experience listening to that audiobook that got me make this post, which I'm gonna read out to you now and hear your thought about it. So I made a post that the title of my post is "Does listening to audiobooks diminishes its literary quality?" I mean, does listening to a voiceover actor talk about an audiobook, does the act of listening to it, does it reduce its literary quality? I mean, the quality that the literature possesses itself. So my post goes like this. I just listened to an audiobook and hilariously, it's my first time. But I think audiobook isn't my thing. Maybe because I am a literary reader, that's a point, that alone is another point people coming back to tongue lash that maybe because I'm a literary reader, that's number one point that intrigue people's reaction. Let me go on actually, because I heard of some people insulting me that, oh, you're a literary reader, so what are we? Stuff like that. So I said, maybe because I'm a literary reader and I need to follow through with the author's writing style, choice of words and many more. Sometimes I even make note. I love to get lost in the book, plot twists, and transitions. Now, how do I do that with an audiobook? Maybe it is just me, but I don't consider audiobook as a great resource for literary analysis because a lot of things must have been lost from the audiobook's narrator's point of view. I'll say that again. But I don't consider audiobooks as a great resource for literary analysis because a lot of things must have been lost from the audiobook narrator's point of view. And I go ahead and said, I consider it a middleman approach to storytelling. A lot of people like reacted to that as well. This particular phrase, I consider it a middleman approach to storytelling, which to me is cheating. That's where I have the best of tongue lash coming from because they were like, how would I consider audiobook cheating? We're coming to that after actually. Then I go ahead and said, I don't want anyone to stand between me and the story. I mean, I don't want anyone to stand between me and the story. I want to get it lost directly from the author, and as such, physical book is the best. So I'm gonna have to read the whole write up again, yeah, before I go into the point where I have quite a lot of where I would justify myself. And you might leave me a comment in the comment section of what you prefer best in terms of literary, analysis. And when I mean literary analysis, I mean the art or the stance of writing literary reviews. Because I don't know if you've ever listened to an audiobook and you're able to write a literary review out of it. But for me, I consider physical copy a great approach to writing literary reviews. So I'm going to read that again. I just listened to an audiobook and hilariously it's my first time. But I think audiobook is not my thing. Maybe because I'm a literary reader and I need to follow through with the author's writing style, choice of words, and many more. Sometimes I even make note and love to get lost in the book plot twist and transition. Now, how do I do that with an audiobook? Maybe it is just me, but I don't consider audiobooks as a great resource for literary analysis because a lot of things must have been lost from the audiobook narrator's point of view. I consider it a middleman approach to storytelling, which to me is cheating. I don't want anyone to stand between me and the story. I want to get I want to get the story directly from the author, and as such, physical book is the best. So this post actually got me learning a lot because I got quite a lot of people commenting on it and saying different things. And one of the things they mentioned, which I later found out, was the fact that it is even the written method of books that it's the middleman. Because what I talked about, I consider it a middleman approach to storytelling. Some people were like, you are wrong. Physical book is even the middleman because right from time, storytelling start from aura, like from direct communication from the storyteller to the listener, which is what an audiobook person does. So they were like, the physical book is even the middleman in this regard because the story is told directly from the mouth in form of oral voicing, oral communication, oral storytelling, and physical book and writing format is the middleman. So, well, this is actually my own, what's it called, thought of what I consider audiobook because, like I said, I love literary analysis and listening to audiobook, I'm afraid, won't bring out most of the things that I won't be able to get more things from listening to audiobook compared to if I open the book myself, and read word to word, line to line, stanzas to stanzas. And like I mentioned, I don't want anybody to stand between me and the author. But I figured out that the author is the one who is telling the story. And as such, I don't want anyone to come in between me and the author. I want to get engrossed. I want to be lost in the world building, in the storytelling techniques, in the book characterization, in the plot twist, in a lot of things in there. And as such, that's one of the reasons why I consider physical book to be a good resource in terms of literary analysis compared to audiobook. And again, whenever I'm reading a book, I have my bookmark here. I can easily put it here and highlight or tick a section where I stopped and continue from there, the next part. And again, that sometimes where I underline, I take note of like, oh my God, because I'm a lover of words. I love words so much, and there's some particular words or sentences that can really intrigue me. I'm like, wow, I love that line. Look at the way it rhymes. Look at the way this author bring these words together. So, all of those things is what I think of that make me consider physical book as a good analysis of literature compared to audiobooks. Actually, well, I don't really know how people, and you can let me know your thoughts. I don't know how people were able to analyze literature listening to audiobook, I'm afraid. But with physical book, you can easily go through it. You can read it. You can take some notes. You can do some highlight. You can check back later. You can, revisit it. But with audiobook, it's just about you telling the story over and over. And listening to it actually was one of the reasons I made the post. And I was very, very lost. I was like, oh my God, I don't think audiobook is for me because I just love, and again, I love to feel the touch of physical book in my hands. Yeah, I love to get lost into the author's writing style, into the author's storytelling techniques, and as such, all of these things that physical book offers me, audiobook do not. So, yeah, I'm gonna make some other point again that I mentioned. And maybe because I'm a literary reader and I need to follow through with the author's writing style, choice of words, and many more. Sometimes I even make notes. I love to get lost in the plot twist and transition. Now, how do I do that with an audiobook? Which is obviously very hard. And I think we human being differs from person to person. And again, this post had some people calling me an ableist because they were like, okay, do you think literature is only meant for people who have eyes? Like, oh no, that can be me. I'm not ableist. Like, because they were like, but people who have eye defect, people who are blind, they listen to audiobook. And will you now say that them listening to audiobooks, it's not the best. So, well, it's just about my preference actually, and what I consider as the best resource in terms of literary analysis. And I think we have different ways of analyzing works of literature. Whereas for me, I prefer physical book compared to audiobook because let's be frank, a lot of things might, according to me, be lost based on the narrator's point of view. Because there are some scenarios that even you, if you are to interpret it on yourself, the audiobook narrator might not be able to do that job. Okay, like I find a scene, I find a sentence that will read dynamically to me, and I wanted to interpret it, and I just have to go away. And again, audiobooks is like I said, I consider it a middleman approach to storytelling because this is not coming from the voice of the author. If it's coming from the voice of the author, I can say, okay, yeah, I'm listening to the author directly. The author is telling me the story directly, just like it's in his or her head before he goes ahead penning it down. But now, when it comes to another person narrating the story to me, that's why I like to consider it a middleman approach to storytelling because I'm not getting the words directly from the author. I'm not getting the action, the characters' conversation. I'm not getting the characterization. I'm not getting the way the characters behave. I'm not getting the way the characters talk directly as it comes from the author. And this is more like an interpretation based on the middleman coming through the narrator coming through the voiceover actors, which at point might not be very raw. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, but which at point might not be very raw. But if supposedly the audiobook is narrated by the author, I say, okay, yes, this is fine because I'm getting it directly from the author. And that's one of the reasons why I consider an audiobook a medium approach to storytelling. And and rather than someone narrated a story to me, I prefer to read it rawly in book. Yeah, so what do you think about this? Do you think audiobooks diminish or reduce a book's literary quality in terms of narration, in terms of storytelling techniques, in terms of characterization? And a lot of works that go into narrating books. Is either it's a fault from the narrator or is the narrator not getting some cogent point which I myself, as a direct physical book reader, would get and the narrator misses in his or her voicing. So, what do you think of this? Which one do you consider a good resource in terms of analyzing literature? Is it physical book or audiobook? But as for me, I consider physical book a good approach to analyzing literature compared to audiobooks. What you think about this, and you can leave me your comment in the comment section. Very much. And I just wanted to mention these few books that I got a few days ago. I got this from the park actually. So hilariously, it's very cheap. This is subtle out of not giving a fuck. I got it for I think 2,000 naira should be around maybe $2, and $2.02 thereabout. So I was like, oh, that's nice. Let me actually, I think it's more than that. I bargained it. Yeah, I bargained it, and the seller went ahead selling for me for $2.02 each. So everything works around $8.08. So which is quite nice to me. Atomic Habit. This so like crazy. I have some of these books. I have their PDF, but then I just felt I should have them on my shelf so I can revisit it. Thank you. Let me know what you think of audiobook and physical book in terms of the one that is best at analyzing literature. Catch you up in my next video. Goodbye.